Students, welcome to Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School online classes. Today we are going to start chapter number 6, Python Fundamentals of class 11. In this chapter we are going to learn about the character set of Python, the bare bones of Python program, tokens, variables or and assignments, and simple input and output operations in Python. So here we have first of all the Python character set. So when we talk about character set of Python, so character set is a set of valid characters that a language can recognize. That can be letter, that can be digits, that can be special symbols, or that can be white spaces or some other characters. When we talk about letters, they can be capital A to Z or small a to Z, digits from 0 to 9, special symbols like multiply, division, integer division, white spaces like blank spaces and tabs, and some other special characters. So next we have is tokens. So the individual marks are called tokens or the lexical units of the Python that cannot be broken in that particular language. After that we have a sample program, like here we have name equals to Anya, age is equal to 15, contribution is 710.75, so it is a string literal. Anya is a string literal since it is enclosed in the double quotes. 15 is an integer literal and 710.75 is a float literal. So these are the literals in Python. And after that we have Python has the following tokens. There are different types of tokens in Python like keywords, identifiers, and literals, operators and punctuators. Let us learn about them one by one. First we have is keywords. So when we talk about the keywords in Python, these are the reserved words of a particular language which convey a special meaning to the language compiler or interpreter. Like we have a list of reserved words: false, true, elif, del, for, while. They have a special meaning to the language interpreter, so they cannot be used as the name of the variables. Next we have is identifiers. So when we talk about the identifiers, these are the user defined names which are defined by the user, and there are some rules for specifying the identifiers also. So these are the fundamental building blocks of a program and are used as the general terminology for the name given to the different parts of the program. So first of all, the rule is an identifier should be a sequence of letters and digit, and it cannot start with a digit. Either it should start with underscore or it can start with a letter. Upper and lowercase letters are different in the identifiers. That is, if you say small x and capital X, they both are different. The digits 0 to 9 can be a part of the identifier except the first character, and they are unlimited in length. The case is significant, and if you want to join two words, in that case the two words should be joined either by an underscore or there should be no gap between them. After that we have an identifier cannot contain any special character except underscore. Except the underscore, you cannot take any special character like full stop or question mark or any other character. It is not allowed in Python, right? After that we have the literals and the values. So literals, also referred to as the constant values, are the data items that have a fixed value. Like we have a string literal that can be any name like Python, hello or any other thing. Similarly, we have the numeric literal, boolean literal, special literal, none, and the literal collections. So here we have first the string literal. String literal is a collection of characters which is enclosed either in the single or the double quotes. Like here it is written Astha, so it is also a string literal. Then here it is written Rizwan, this is also a string literal. Or any numeric number like numeric form like 1, 2, 3, 4 enclosed in the single or the double quotes is also treated as a string literal, right? After that we have the string type in Python. It is a sequence of characters, and it can be a combination of different letters. After that we have the multi-line strings and the single line strings. There are two types of string. One is the single line string which comes in only single line. Like here you can see hello is written, so this is coming in the single line. So this is a single line string literal. Whereas if you talk about the multi-line strings, they come in more than one line. So to just specify the multi-line string, they should be added in the triple quotes. When we are writing them, they should be added in the triple quotes. Here you can see this is a string literal, and if it is covering more than one line, then it should be in the triple quotes, starting in the triple quotes and ending with the triple quotes. Here we have hello and here we have world. So either we can use this slash sign, backslash, or we can use the triple quotes for this purpose to specify the string which is in more than one line. Okay, so here we are given the rule for it. Also, while calculating the length, if there is a backslash character, then it is also taken as a one character. Like here we have been given the size of the string. So if we calculate the size of the string, in this case its size is 1. Slash, after that one character is there, so it is considered as 1. Then ABC, the size is 3. A, B, C, 3. Then we have slash A and B. So slash A is considered as one character and B is the other character. So these are, the size is 2. Then we have Seema Spen, SEEMA, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. Then slash apostrophe S, 6. Then space 7. Then uske baad you have PEN. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Total 11 characters are there. So 11 is the length. Slash is considered as one character. After the slash, apostrophe S is there, so there will be 2 characters. Next we have AMYS, AMYS. So AMY apostrophe S is one character, so total the size is 4, right? After that we have Boolean literals. So Boolean literal in Python is used to represent one of the 2 Boolean values, that is either true or false. Either the value is true or the value is false. Then we have one more literal, that is non-literal, which shows the absence of any value. Suppose we say A is equal to none or value 2 is equal to none. It means there is no value stored in the variable value 2. It is empty, but we are taking it as for our efficiency, for our work. The non-literal is used to indicate the absence of value, and it is used to indicate the end of the list in Python. Okay, so for that purpose we can use a none just variable none value. So this is a special literal in Python. After that we have the multi-line strings and the single line strings, which we have discussed. After that we have the numeric literal, in which we have talked about the numbers which can be formed. Like we have the integer literal in this one, which would consist of the whole numbers. Okay, then we have the floating point literals, in which we have the fractional values like 14.56, like that. And in the integer literal we have the decimal integer literal, octal and hexadecimal. So when we are writing the decimal integer literal, we have to specify it in this way, like 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 41, 17, it can be positive or negative. And when we are specifying the octal integer literal, we can put a O and then we can type our number, whichever it is. And after that we have the hexadecimal one, so it will consist of the x as the starting value, or you can say the starting variable, and after that whatever is the number or whatever is the value. So this is the hexadecimal integer literal. And after that we have the floating point, which we have discussed, which has the fractional form. So after that we have the exponent form. We know that the numbers can also be written in the exponent form like this. This is the exponent form where it shows you like this, 152e minus 8, like this. This is the exponent form. So a real literal is in exponent form consists of the 2 parts. One is the mantissa part and other is the exponent part. Like here we have written 0.58 into 10 raised to the power 1. It can be written in this form, 0.58 E01. So 0.58 is the mantissa part and 01, or you can say 1, is the exponent part. Okay. After that we have the other things, that is Boolean literals, which we have discussed, special literal we have discussed. Then we have the operators. So operators are the tokens that trigger some computation. We have the unary operators like plus, minus, multiply, divide, and then we have the other operators like logical operators, which we have, in which we have the greater than, less than, and these type of operators. Then we have the bitwise operators where and or not come. Then we have the shift operators where they are used to shift left or right. And then we have the identity operators. The identity is or is not. Then we have the relational operators, logical operators are the logical and logical or, and the relational operators are less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, or not equal to. They are basically used to do the mathematical computation of the data, like if we want to perform the addition operation, or we want to perform the product, find the product of two numbers, or if we want to compare the two numbers, then we can make use of these operators. So they are used for the operations. And suppose I say a plus b, so plus is the operator and a and b are operands, right? Next we have the logical operators, we have discussed logical and or. Next we have is punctuators. So punctuators are the symbols that are used in the programming language to organize the sentence structure and indicate the rhythm and emphasis of the expression. So these are the punctuators. Like in the functions we use the brackets, sometimes we use the hashtag symbol, and we use the full stop or equal to, which is an assignment operator. So these are some of the symbols which are required for the proper functioning of the syntax of the program. So we have learned about different types of tokens today. After this we have the bare bones of a Python program. So bare bones of any programming language means the structure of a program. Like in this case you can see here the hashtag symbols are there. So any text which is written after the hash symbol, it is considered as a comment, and it is ignored by the interpreter. It is only for the user readability. Next we have the def keyword, which shows us that this is the definition of a function, and after that we have the name of a function, that is cu. After that the bracket is there, it shows that this is the name of a function, and def keyword shows that this is the function definition. After that we have the print statement, and then we have the statements a equals to 15, b equals to a minus 10, and print a plus 3. So these three are known as the statements, which are the programming instructions. And here you can see gap is given after the if loop and this loop. So here we have a gap which is known as indentation. So why do we provide the gap? So that it shows that it is a part of a function or any other loop. After this we have the statement cu, and that after that parentheses are there. So this statement shows that the function is being called. As soon as the function is called, the control is transferred to the function definition. After that we have the above example shows us the different things in a program. Like we have the expressions, we have the comments, we have the statements, we have the functions, and we have the blocks and indentation, right? So let us discuss them one by one. The first one is our expression. So when we talk about the expression, it is a combination of the symbols that represent any value, like 15, 2.0, or we say a is equal to 5. So 5 is an expression. Next we talk about the symbols. So when we talk about the symbols, or if we talk about the statement, so what is a statement? Statement is a programming instruction which performs any action. Like I say print hello, so this is a statement. If I say if b greater than 5, so this is a statement, right? If I only say b greater than 5, that will be considered as an expression, but if b greater than 5, that will be a statement, because it will be doing something, right? Next we have comments. So we have learned that comments are the additional readable information which is read by the programmer and ignored by the Python interpreter. So anything which is written after hash any text, that will be considered as a comment. So comment can be a single line comment. If we put the hashtag symbol and write the text, it will be in the single line. And if we want to have the multi-line comments, then it needs to be printed in the triple quotes. If we write anything, start with triple quotes and write any text in between in 2 to 3 lines, and then we put the triple quotes, that means it is also a comment and it will be ignored by the Python interpreter, right? After that we have functions. So when we talk about functions in Python, functions are the code that has a name, and it can be tested or checked, or it can be reused again and again. So function, you can say it is a block of a program which help us to do a functionality, and it can be reused in a program to do a particular work. Next we have the blocks and the indentation. So when we talk about the blocks, so here like it is written if b greater than 5, then these two print statements are there. So these two print statement make the block of the if loop or the if statement. So here we have the indentation. So here you can see in the print statement there is a gap. Here it is a gap given, so this gap is known as the indentation. It shows that these two statements are part of the if statement, and the gap is very much necessary. The proper use of the gaps help in the proper making of the code or making of the program, and these are known as the blocks and the indentation. Indentation is the gap, and blocks are the statements which are there after the indentation part. Okay, next we have is The group of individual statements which make a single code is called suite in Python. It is called a suite in Python. After that we have the variables and the assignment. So variable, what is variable? It represents the named location that refers to any value. Suppose I say a is equal to 5. So a is the name of the variable and a is equal to 5 means it stores the value 5. Equal to is the assignment operator. Like here we have been given marks equals to 70. So 70 is the value and marks is the name of the variable. Like similarly we have student equals to Jacob and age equals to 16 or 10, whatever is written. So you can see here variable is the name of the memory location and here it is being specified like name. For the name we have the memory location like this and for age we have the memory location like this. So we have the different memory location for the different variables. Same way we can store this type of data in the variables in the memory. And sometimes there can be errors also. So let us understand how the errors can come. Here we have written a equals to 20, b is equal to 10. So what does it mean? That a has a value 20, b has a value 10. And always when we write a variable and assign a value to it, variable name should be to the left side of the equal to and value should also always be to the right side. So here we have written 20 equals to a, 10 equals to b. So this statement will become wrong. Or if I say, if we use any expression also like a into 2 is equal to b, this is also wrong because this is basically an error in the program. Variable name should always to be the left side and the value of the variable should always be to the right side. Then we have the multiple assignments. Multiple assignment means one value can be assigned to multiple variables. Like here we have a equals to b equals to c equals to 10. It means value of a is also 10, value of b is also 10 and value of c is also 10. Same way we can assign different values to the different variables. Like we have a x comma y equals to 25 comma 50. It means x has the value 25 and y has the value 50. So if you print x comma y, it will print 25 space 50. Comma will not be printed. Comma will only be printed if it is in the double or the single quotes, right? After this we have consider the following code and give the output. We have x comma y equals to 20 comma 30. It means value of x is 20 and value of y is 30. And then we say y comma y equals to x plus 10 comma x plus 20. Then it says print x plus y. So what will be the answer? 20 plus 10 is 30 and then we have 20 plus 30 is 30 plus 20 is 50. So the output is 30 and 50. Now we have the variable definition. How do we define a variable? Suppose we have given print x and before that we have not given any statement. So what will happen? The name error will come that the x is not defined as it is shown here in the window. Now if I say x equals to 10 and then I say print x, it means the value of x is 10. It will show you that value. And after that if I write below the print statement, I write x equals to hello as a string and then I say print x. What does that mean? That earlier the value of x was 10 and now the value of x has become hello. So now the new value will be printed as that value will be replaced. Here it is shown like here it is x equals to 10, print x. So what will the output come? 10. Here it is x equals to hello world, then it is print x. So now the value of x has become, it has changed, it has become a string variable that is hello world. So the 10 will be replaced by the string hello world. So this is dynamic typing. So dynamic typing basically refers to a variable which was referring to some other value at one point of time and it has been made to change to some another value or variable. So that is known as dynamic typing and Python supports dynamic typing whereas the languages like C, C++, they have the static typing. Static typing means in which one particular data type is fixed to a variable. Like in the other like C++ language, we used to put like this, we used to write like this int x equals to 10. It means, or we would write int x. It means the variable x can store only integer type of data. No other type of data can be stored in it and if we try to do so, it will show us an error. So static typing is in the other languages but Python supports dynamic typing which is a very important feature of Python, right? Now, so when we are doing the dynamic typing, we have to make sure like here example is given x equals to 10, y is equal to 0, y is equal to x by 2. and we say x equals to day, y is equal to x by 2. So we have to take care of these things, that although Python is comfortable with changing the type, programmer is responsible for ensuring the right type for certain type of operation. Like if you are giving y is equal to O and you are dividing a string value by an integer value, then it will create an error because string cannot be divided by the integer value. Now we have the type function. So type function in Python is basically used to give the data type of that variable. Like here it is a equals to 10. So 10 is an integer value, and if we say type a, so a stores the integer value, so it will give you the output as int. Similarly, a equals to 20.5, this will be float. A equals to hello, this will be string. So the type function basically works as giving the data type of the variable in which the value is stored. Next we have is input and output. So in order to give the input by the user, we have the input function in Python that takes by default the string value, and in order if we want the input function to take the integer or the float value, we need to specify int or float before the input function. After that we have the print statement. So the print function is basically used to give the output on the screen, and when we give the output with the help of the print, suppose we are giving 5 print statements, so all the output will be in the different lines, and along with that if we want the output to be in the same line, so we have to give particular separator, and that if we give that, after that that particular dots or whatever we have given as a separator, that comes after that statement. So we can see in the example here, suppose we want it to be printed in the same line. So here we have given and equals to dollar. So when we are giving and equals to dollar, it means it will give, after the my name is Ankit, it will give a dollar sign, and then it will print the whatever is there in the next print statement. I am 16-year-olds in the same line. I am 16 years old. Okay, so if you want the data to be printed in the same line, you can give and equals to space or comma or any special character. And if you want to be data to be printed or the text to be printed in the different lines, so in that case we have to give the different print statements, right? Next we have is, like here we have name equals to enthusiast, print hello, and equals to space. So when we are giving the space here and then we say name, and how do you find Python? So in this case it will say hello enthusiast, and then see, you can see that the print name, though it is the next command, but here since and is equal to space is written, that is why the name is coming just after hello. So it will say hello enthusiast, and after that it will print in the next line, how do you find Python, right? Now here we have 3 programs. Program to obtain the 3 numbers and print their sum. So in this case we have taken the 3 numbers, num1, num2 and num3, and we have taken the input function, and since we want to take the numbers but the input function will take the string value, that is why we have used the int function here. So after taking the int function in all the 3 statements, we have given a sum statement, num1 plus num2 plus num3, and then we have printed all the 3 numbers and then the sum of the values. After that we have the program to calculate the length and breadth. So we have taken 2 values, length and breadth, from the user, and then we have calculated the area, and then we have given the print statement. And after that we have another one program is given to you, so you can just practice this program. And we have covered the explanation of this chapter. In case you find any doubt in this chapter in any of the topics, you can just message. And I hope you have understood all the topics which we have discussed. Thank you students. Have a good day.